Hey, happy days, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma, sipping my cup of happiness, or my, cup of happy, not happy, and thinking about Mondays. Now, how do you, right this minute, today, since it's Monday, awesome Monday, feel about Mondays? I have been one of those people that's always been a little bit blessed in that I love Mondays, no matter what I was doing. A lot of times I was going to school or going to a course or studying something or had a different job or career, but I always got excited about Mondays. I love the weekends. I love the weekend that I, even in corporate America, that I would spend with my family and my kids, but I was always excited to get back to work because I always had jobs that were interesting to me. Now, I did notice that I have like a 3-year personal cycle where I would get a new job or get in a new career, get in a new company or a new industry, get really excited about it, spend about a year learning absolutely everything I could about that company or that industry. And then the second year, I would implement, create systems and processes and procedures for whatever business or industry I was in that helped to set an understanding and a framework and systems for success in that business. And then by the third year, as those things were clicking along, we were doing some continuous improvement things, but I automated the continuous improvement of the systems for that business or industry. I would start to get a little bored toward the end of that 3-year mark. And then I'd be looking for my next thing, my next challenge. And so I've had a whole career and a whole life of repeating that cycle. And sometimes it was 5 years, depending on how big a jump I made from industry to industry. And other times it was but usually I noticed that after 3 years, I was looking for the next challenge, or I was taking on a new department, or I was adding a new business to the businesses that my ex-husband and I were running. And that's just my personal cycle. We all have that, but I think that I like Mondays. Now, Thursday used to be my day of the week that I didn't love, and that was only because as a child, I had piano lessons on Thursday, and my parents made us take piano lessons. I didn't take piano lessons because I loved the idea of being able to play the piano, and the truth is now I can sit down at a piano and I really can't play a single song because I never really learned it. It was just something I did and practiced every week because I had to, but not because I wanted to or I had a desire or a love for learning how to play music or learning how to play the piano. I am not a particularly musical person. My granddaughter and my kids, it's gone from generation to generation, will tell me, "Don't sing, Grandma, you have a terrible voice." And I get that. When I was little, I had tonsillitis and laryngitis a lot, and so I have this gravel-gurdy, rough voice that's, not pretty to listen to. I can't carry a tune, right? And maybe someday I could learn. I think you can learn to do anything you want, but singing and music has never been that thing for me. When I was younger, I loved music, other people's music. I had thousands and thousands of albums, if you remember what albums are, and cassette tapes, but I have never been like a singer. I think probably because in grade school, even my music teacher, Mrs. Pominville, told me I couldn't sing. So when people tell you something, you start to believe it. But Mondays, I've always liked Mondays. So Mondays to me were always fun because I looked at them as the start of something new, the start of a new week every week. So I'm curious, how do you feel about Mondays? Do you love Mondays, or do you have the Mondays, a case of the Mondays where you just dread going back to work? You dread going back to your business. You dread leaving the weekend of your fun and hobbies and family and excitement and then do what you do to make a living. So curious about how you feel about Mondays. Well, now you know how I feel about them. I think Mondays are awesome. So I did a piece a few minutes ago about once in a blue moon and about things being rare and scarce. And maybe it's an anomaly. Maybe it's unique that the people that love Mondays or that like different days of the week. But I think that it's less rare and less scarce than we think it is. I think anything nowadays, especially with the advent of the internet and the opening up of the world and the knocking down of borders in terms of people knowing more about other people all over the world, I think that when we think we are the only ones experiencing or feeling something, all we have to do is go on the internet and search, and we will find that there are millions, if not hundreds of millions of people going through similar, and of course it's not the exact same experience because each of us are unique and different, and we experience life as only we can, but it's similar enough that we can find people that we can relate to, especially when it comes to something that's challenging us. When we're having a problem or a difficulty, or we're having a hard time understanding something, I think it's really amazing that we can get in touch with someone halfway across the world that's going through a similar thing, and we can help one another through that experience. We can help one another through that experience if we choose to. We can also get with a whole group of people that all we do is commiserate and feel sorry for ourselves and increase our sense of victimhood. But we can also do the opposite. Depends what you're looking for. You can find nowadays in the world anything you want, good or bad, positive or negative, things that empower you and make you better, or things that bring you down and make you worse. It's a matter of choice and what you're looking for. But I think that's really kind of fascinating and amazing. You know, a lot of times we go through experiences, you know, we relationships end, or businesses fail, or businesses are succeeding and we need help because we've got problems in a good way. We don't know how to, you know, keep up with the growth fast enough. Well, it's just a button away or a question away to go and find information on how to figure out what is my next step, what do I need to do next for a problem, or for, you know, for a good problem or for a bad problem. And I think that makes life pretty fun and pretty exciting right now. But other people might think that it's overwhelming, and they might see the negative side of that. We all see things differently. So that's what I've been thinking about this morning and working on. My amazing 4-year-old granddaughter's coming early today. I'm excited I get her before school today. So I'm just quick making my videos. I will not have time to do my one funnel away till she goes to school this morning. And so I'll hold off on that. We're starting funnel week. This is week 3 of the one funnel away challenge. It's not my first time through it, obviously, otherwise I'd be overwhelmed. And I will admit that the first time I went through it, I thought, oh, I've been doing funnels for over, 2 years, I guess almost 2 years at that point. And I'm good at funnels, right? I'm a certified partner for ClickFunnels, even though we're not officially certified partners anymore. Once you get certified, you're certified. And so I know a lot about funnels. I can do a lot about sales funnels and, the technology and everything. And I thought this week, week 3, would be just a breeze for me, super easy. And it turns out it was actually only the first time through the beta time through, the hardest for me, because it was totally different than what I had expected. And it was easy but hard, because what I made myself do is follow the challenge exactly. So I had to pretend and unlearn everything I knew and do it as if I'd never done it before. And for me, that was the biggest challenge ever, was sometimes we know too much, right? We know too much, and we kill people and we kill our business with knowing too much. And Russell Brunson calls it technobabble, or technical terms we call them in corporate America, because once we get into that mode, we lose people, because once they get confused, and we confuse them when we use technical terms. And we, even in corporate America, we had to, from department to department, remember that each department has their own terminology, their own technology. So when you were presenting company-wide, corporate-wide, you would have to make sure that you explain to people if you were using a technical term. Again, Russell Brunson uses something he calls a kind of like bridge. Whenever you use or describe something that people might not understand, you say it's kind of like, and then compare it to something that they do understand. Really powerful lesson. And I learned it before he called them kind of like bridges in corporate America, because when I was in corporate quality, I would have to give presentations to all different departments, all different divisions of the organization. And if I was going to purchasing and talking about something, they actually spoke a slightly different language than if I was talking to IT, or if I was talking, to the board of directors, or to all the company vice presidents. It's a different understanding and a different language. You just have to always remember to consider your audience. So working on the One Funnel Away Challenge, of course, week 3, working on my offer for part of the One Funnel Away Challenge. We did the offer week 1, stories week 2, and funnels week 3. So now we've got 7 days in a row of building funnels. And I won't have any trouble this time. I didn't have any trouble the second time either. Just the first time through was a little bit of a challenge, which it's always surprising when we think something is going to be super easy for us, and it's more challenging than we expected. Sometimes I think we expect things to be hard, and when we expect them to be hard, we end up having them feel easier than we expected them to be. If we're dreading something and then we go through it and it's like a breeze, that feels so much better than when we think we're going to be awesome at something and we struggle with it, or we have roadblocks that we didn't anticipate. Truth is, we're always going to have roadblocks. We're always going to have things that we don't anticipate, and it's just a matter of knowing that we'll figure it out. We'll always figure it out. If you adopt the philosophy that you'll always figure things out and that the world is really in your favor, it makes for a much happier life, at least in my Happy Monday expectations. So what are you working on? What are you working on that you're excited about? What are you working on that you'd like to share with other people? Share it in the comments below today. Let's share what we're working on and see if we can't help one another out. Go out, make it an amazing Monday, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.